There was nothing else at all in the whole world but football.
Hi guys, Simon here and welcome to another episode of the FFF Show. Apologies, it's been a while since the last show. I've just had to take a little break to re-energise and deliver the best show that you guys deserve. I was joined by Oliver on Monday to talk about the summer transfer window, the managerial merry-go-round, a little bit on his beloved Leeds United and the upcoming European Championships, and of course a cameo appearance from my cat, Mango. Hope you guys enjoy. So the transfer window, man. There's been a few sort of high-profile signings so far. I mean, Aguero to Barcelona, Emi Buendia to Aston Villa. Obviously, as an Arsenal fan, I'm pretty gutted about that. David Alaba to Real Madrid, Konate to Liverpool. I think they're more or less the sort of
Ronaldo seem is an interesting one because it sounds like he's going to Paris Saint-Germain now.
Really? Because I thought Messi pretty much I've heard he was in talks for the PSG move.
From what I've read, Pochettino is not leaving, and he's been calling him up and been like, "Come here, and we can give you more money than Barca. Come on."
Wow. Yeah, so Ronaldo's obviously destined to leave Juve.
It does seem to be the case,
yeah. So that'll be interesting. So I wonder, what do you reckon will happen with Messi then? Do you think Messi will, or could we see the impossible? Could we see the impossible of Messi, Ronaldo, the same club?
I can't see Messi leaving Barcelona. I think he's been there too long. I think when you either get out when it's good, or you stay too long. And I think I think that's it. I think he's there for life now.
Yeah, I mean, it does feel a little bit like Groundhog Day. It's just that every season, it's just pretty much every summer transfer window is the same with Messi threatening to leave Barcelona. And I think it will just be
his contract is actually running out, isn't it? This is like he could go on a free.
Yeah.
But I still can't. I'd be so surprised, like really, really surprised. Really.
Yeah, I don't know. I can actually see it happening.
Where do you think he'd go though? Because he's going to want a load of money.
Yeah,
and that already limits it to like 3, maybe 4 teams, if that.
But who do you think the 3 or 4 teams are? So Man City.
Well, the owners that could fall in probably Man City, Man United, PSG. Actually, it's probably those 3.
Even Man United.
Well, no, I'm just saying in terms of having the money.
Did Man United have that money?
Yeah, they do. They've got all the money. They've got all the money in the world.
So, yeah.
They
the Glazers
don't show it in the way you would expect them to.
No, that's true. It's true. Yeah,
I think if they wanted Messi, if they really wanted him, and it was a financial thing, I bet they could definitely sort something out.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, I mean, if PSG are going to get Ronaldo, it looks very unlikely that they'll go for Messi. But if you were PSG and you were the owners of PSG, just that fantasy.
Let's just have them all.
Yeah, exactly. Let's just play real life FIFA and just bring them all in, because they. Oh my God, imagine that: Mbappe, Messi, Ronaldo,
with Neymar on the bench.
Yeah. Yeah, there's going to be like if Ronaldo goes to PSG, there's got to be a bit of a sort of merry-go-round there, hasn't there?
Well, I know that Mbappe's been linked to Liverpool a bit, hasn't he? And there've been quotes attributed to him where he said, "If I went anywhere, it would be there." I don't know how true that is, but
yeah, I just read something online that Mbappe said that he was in conversations with Zidane at the Real Madrid job, and that was the reason why he snubbed their offer. So that was a bit of a weird one. Yeah. So Mbappe turned down going to Real Madrid.
I mean, I'd be surprised if he stayed at Paris Saint-Germain forever. I know he's really young. I can't actually remember how young he is.
Like 20, I think, or 21.
And like, yeah, like maybe give it another year or so at Paris Saint-Germain. Although saying that, I think it really feels like you touched on a transfer earlier that's got this in my head about this year is going to be a massive like domino effect of players going places. You mentioned Bundia going from Norwich to Villa. I'm so sorry. I would have definitely I wanted him at Leeds last year when we were looking for players, and we've been linked to him, and I was like, yes, definitely, I would take him.
Yeah.
So that it sounds like a lot of money.
Yeah, I think the two clubs that were obviously this window that was really closely linked with him were obviously Aston Villa and Arsenal, and I think Arsenal just weren't as interested as Villa, and Villa just won that race. I think for Arsenal, I think we weren't willing to go any higher than 30 mil, which is a joke, really. The guy he's easily a 35 mil player. I think even 40 mil wouldn't have been a problem.
I'd be surprised if he's still at Villa in 2 years.
The guy's amazing.
Unless I'm misreading Villa and they really push on. Like, I know that Dean Smith was saying earlier in the season that they don't have enough creativity when Jack Grealish is out. Now, whether he has been signed as an accompaniment or as a replacement is obviously, that's completely two different things. But if they have those two, then maybe they can push on and make that step up from mid-table up towards the European places. But like I said, unless Villa can get in top 4 within 2 years, I don't think he'll be there. In fact, I was going to say the same for Grealish, but I'm not so sure. He's stuck with them this long. He's probably the highest paid player there.
Yeah, it made me laugh when Dia went to Villa. Like, the Arsenal fans on Twitter were just immediately saying, "Oh, Grealish is on his way to Arsenal." It's like, I don't.
Probably not going to happen.
I don't think he'll go to Arsenal, but I honestly think Grealish will leave. I really think he'll leave this summer.
This summer?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I'm just trying to think who's likely to go in for him. I think he'll stay in the Premier League. I think it'll be
the price he's going to go for is the price where if a team lays it out, they're not going to be getting another player for that sort of price. So I think it's down to if Man United do or don't get Sancho. If Man City or Chelsea do or don't get Haaland, I think they're probably two of the bigger dominoes. I think this summer in terms of transfers is pretty exciting, really.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the big names that I was wanting to mention.
Sorry,
and no, it's cool, man. I'm glad you did it. But yeah, Sancho, I think Man United is that, like you mentioned before, is that most likely destination. Do you think there's any other clubs that you could possibly see him going to?
Not really. I think you look at where he's coming from. He's coming from a team that, they finished really well, didn't they? In the end, they got there in the end. But after that sort of poor season, I think you still can't see many teams that he would see perhaps as a step up. So it has to be a Champions League team, and it has to be a team that can incentivize him greater in a financial manner, which once again only leaves a couple of clubs. I mean, you'd say Chelsea are perhaps one of those, but I would rule them out because they have so many players that wide attacking.
True.
They've got too many players that play that sort of role. Bringing in another one would be ridiculous.
But
maybe Chelsea could afford Messi. I don't know. I don't. You know what? I mentally knocked them off the list, and I think it's a bias thing. They could definitely afford him, couldn't they? They've got bags of money.
I mean, that's the thing. Going back to Mbappe, I think Chelsea, if they really wanted to, they could probably end up going for him as well.
Well, they obviously aren't happy with
Mbappe as well, so that's another incentive.
There's obviously a striker missing at Chelsea. We thought, I mean, it doesn't appear to be. It doesn't look like Tammy Abraham is the answer.
No. Well, if they can go for the likes of Haaland or Mbappe, Tammy Abraham, see you later, I think.
I think in his interests, he's probably better off going somewhere. And the team I would have thought he might go to is probably Villa after he had that loan spell. But can they afford? Because Chelsea are probably going to want ridiculous amount of money for him.
For Tammy Abraham, I can't see. I think a lot.
Plus.
I think 20 is reasonable, but yeah, if you're going to drive a hard bargain,
they're gonna want 20 plus, definitely. Well, maybe add on. Maybe it's a lower fee with add-ons or something. But they maybe Villa have to sell Grealish to bring in all these other players.
But with the likes of Buendia coming in to Aston Villa, and you've still got Grealish there, and they've shown a lot of ambition, Aston Villa, even bringing in Martinez. You think Tammy Abraham's the right fit for that ambition? Because I think they can aim higher if they wanted to.
So when he was there, I know it was in the Championship. It was a couple of years ago. He seemed to fit in quite well, I thought. And Dean Smith has made comments over the last. I'm sure it's another one of those comments attributed to where I'm sure he's made some favourable comments about him. So I think he does hold him in quite high regard. And perhaps Villa would only be interested if he was available for a more acceptable for a lower fee, if you will. He's an odd one. He needs that run, doesn't he? He's the problem is Chelsea once again just have a million players like Hudson-Odoi. How many? If he's featured in more than 10 games this year, I'd be surprised. I'm probably wrong, but these are players who they might not necessarily be like ready-made stars now, but they've clearly got ability. And if they had if they were owned by a club and they played a full season at that club, they would more than likely become better players at the end of the season. Whereas they're playing like a bit part of Chelsea, and maybe Chelsea loan them out. Yeah, I mean, it'd be good, that experience, but I think having that belonging for a player, for majority of players, I think that's always going to help them feel more settled and play better. Because, loan signings any signing, I guess, is hit or miss, but it always feels like with loan signings, they're kind of less expected to do well almost. If that makes sense, unless it's like a marquee loan signing, from a higher division or something like that. I think, like if let's say Palace, because we have to talk about Palace, because not only do they not have a manager, but they're about to not have any players. They have 12 players, first team players whose contracts are running out this summer. Yes. I think Benteke just signed a new deal, but whoever that new manager is, he's either going to have money to spend, or I don't know. It could maybe they have money to spend on wages, but not much on transfer fees, and that already limits who they can go for. So all of this is going to factor in who they get in as manager.
Yeah, it makes me laugh because we were going to talk about this later anyway. But obviously, Nuno was linked with that Palace job, and it kind of made me laugh because I think Nuno is like going from, I think it's a step down going from Wolves to Palace essentially, or at least a plateau. There's just no much point. And like you say there, if that's the case that they're letting 12 players run out their contracts, like why the hell would any manager, especially of Nuno's caliber, want to go to a place like that?
Nuno's a bit of a weird one. Because you're thinking about, you talk about step up and step down. Palace at best is a step sideways, but the current situation they're in with all those players, it is a step down. Their continuity is not going to be there. You're going to have to bring in players to replace them if you're not keeping them. I genuinely thought that part of the reason of him leaving Wolves is I thought he was going to go to Spurs. But he's not even on the bookies shortlist.
Yeah.
I I'm finding a bit. I genuinely thought he had a plan for going somewhere.
Mm.
It was a bit of an odd one. I don't know if when he went to Wolves he had some sort of 5-year plan or whatever you want to call it. I mean, this year they were pretty terrible in the few games I saw them play. How on earth they beat Leeds? It was, yeah, they managed to like nullify us really well, but it was so dull. Any other, I don't think I saw an exciting game with them in. And that season they got promoted from the Championship, and then even that first season in the Prem, they were actually quite exciting. Like they were quite dynamic, and they just.
I do think the fact that they lost Jimenez, that really sort of derailed them last season. I think that was, especially in the manner in which it happened as well. I think it kind of shook them. It almost reminded me a little bit of when Eduardo broke his leg for Arsenal that season. I can't remember which. I think it was 2007 or 8 or something. But yeah, it really like had such a major impact on the team, and I think that possibly had the same sort of effect with the Wolves team. Not that the Wolves team were challenging for the title, but they I definitely think they could have done a lot better.
They were, yeah. I mean, they were, considering they finished 7th, was it? The year before, they would at least be looking at mid-table, outside chance of Europe. Yeah. And then they finished. I'm not even sure where they finished now, but beneath Newcastle, I think. It would be interesting to see what they do next. If I'm honest, I had thought about before this, obviously, make some notes. I thought about Palace, I thought about Spurs, and I completely forgot the Wolves need a new manager.
Yeah. No, Wolves have got a manager. They Bruno Lage, the dude who was at Benfica. So I think they've appointed him. Yeah.
Okay, I feel a bit better about that. I think I did know that.
If you're enjoying the Triple F Show, then you might enjoy our other podcasts. The Magic Of is a show which profiles special clubs from all over the world to find out about their history, culture and fan base. Under the Floodlights invites fans to talk about their favourite players and managers. And the Triple F Cinema is where guests and I review weird and wacky football films.
I mean, we might as well just get into this managerial merry-go-round because there's so much to talk about. But let's start with the place that you just mentioned. So, Wolves obviously bringing in Bruno Lage. And I think that's a fairly decent appointment. I read somewhere that he had, I can't remember where it was. I didn't find out where exactly it was, but he has had experience in England. I don't know if he was part of a sort of backroom staff at an English club. So I think he has a little bit of English experience. So it's a pretty good appointment. And obviously the Portugal connection. That's a pretty good link for him to be brought in.
Yeah, because Wolves wear the Portugal kit. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. I mean, they are just Portugal, aren't they? Maybe they could bring in Ronaldo. That would be a nice little.
There you go.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Oh my lord! But yeah, no,
he'll be the next club. Ronaldo goes somewhere else, and then he'll go to Wolves.
yeah. He'll retire at Wolves. You think? But
yeah.
Okay, you said it. Note the time. But I think that those sort of 3 clubs you mentioned are really interesting. So Crystal Palace are still managerless. Spurs are still managerless. I think it kind of makes me laugh. And I mean, Arsenal's predicament isn't great, but at least we've still got our manager, and we can at least just sort of move on with the manager and try and rectify the mess of the season that we've had. But with Spurs, it really seems like they're scrambling in the dark to appoint a manager. I saw a funny meme the other day saying that Sam Allardyce was appointed as the new Spurs manager. It was just a complete mock-up. But
I mean, the list that I've got from me here is apparently they still want Ten Hag.
Yeah, they've gone back so with the Conte failure, they've gone back in for Ten Hag, and I would be gutted if Ten Hag ends up at Spurs because I'm a big Ten Hag fan, and yeah, I wanted him at Arsenal. So
one name that keeps getting linked as well is Roberto Martinez, and maybe after the Euros he would be interested if Belgium crash and burn.
I
don't know.
Or maybe if Belgium win the Euros, and that would be a nice sort of way to step down. His job has been done.
Yeah, maybe.
I'll go burn my
Because
career at Spurs.
their players are sort of at that peak sort of now, aren't they? So it's probably going to be slightly downhill maybe from here.
Yeah. Yeah,
Very
but the
pessimistic.
other names in contention for Spurs are quite interesting as well, because I've read Sarri as a possibility, Maurizio Sarri. Because
you know what? I could see it. I can picture him there on the touchline. It's really weird.
with his fag end.
Yeah.
Eddie Howe was another one. And then
Graham
Nuno, obviously.
Potter.
Yeah. It's weird as well because Howe was mentioned with the Celtic job. When
I think they did. It sounded like they did some sort of like manager boot camp with him, because they kept saying there were talks that lasted 2 weeks. So I'm imagining they had him going around some sort of like manager obstacle course,
like the Krypton Factor.
Yeah, and he just didn't get as good a time as like Brendan Rodgers when he was there. So they were like, nah.
What would that be? Like Football Manager 95, Championship Manager 98.
Ultimate Soccer Manager 98, yeah.
Yeah, you've got to complete them in approximately 5 hours.
Become so successful you can sell hot dogs for £5. Sorry, Ultimate Soccer Manager. That was one of the names.
Do you know anything about the Celtic job, actually? Because, I mean, that seems to be one that's been rumbling on for ages.
They're trying to get... I don't know much, but they're trying to get a guy, I can't remember his name.
Is it they need to get his permit or something for?
Yeah, so he doesn't
have
he doesn't have the UEFA Pro license that's needed to manage in the Scottish Premier Division, and it's the guy he used to manage Australia.
Yeah, I was reading this as well.
And I think he manage somewhere else in Europe as well or something. But it's a bit of an odd one. I honestly didn't know him at all. I think his name begins with P.
Yeah, I remember reading about this. Is he South American or something? It's a strange one. It might even be Greek. I don't know.
Yes, I think he might be Greek. Now you've said that, I think he might be. If I'm honest, I hadn't really heard of him. I hadn't really heard of him at all. And I think that some Celtic fans are the same and aren't very happy about that, to be honest. I think they thought Eddie Howe was a shoo-in, and to be honest, it seemed like a pretty good fit.
Yeah, I think so. But I mean, I suppose Rangers are more or less the only competition that you have going up to Scotland. It's I suppose it's more interesting than when Rodgers was there, because Rodgers like Rangers weren't in the picture at the time, so Rodgers
it was
just
the competition,
it was a steamroller job.
Just don't mess up too much and you'll be fine.
Yeah, I suppose there's a bit more of an even playing field now. So yeah, maybe that Celtic job is a bit more interesting. But I think, from what I read about that Greek guy, we might be getting that completely wrong. But from what I read about that guy, he, I think, he seems to be somebody with a bit of pedigree. He was doing well in his last job.
Did he win the... Oh, I'm going to embarrass myself now.
He won something. I'm sure he's not just some like... Yeah. It's just they found him from nowhere. He's definitely got pedigree, and I think, mind you, know all about that. What was the predecessor of Bielsa, the Danish guy? Was it Danish or something? Or
you're talking about Thomas Christensen?
Yes, yeah. Because I remember reading about him.
I have to say that we did have Paul Heckingbottom before Marcelo Bielsa.
He wasn't there long, though, was he, Heckingbottom?
No, he came in and finished off the season with something like 4 wins in 20 games. Relegation, worst form in the league.
Yeah, I remember reading about Christensen, and he did really well. Was it in Cyprus or Malta or something?
Oh yes, now you're challenging me. It was one of those.
Mm-hmm.
Did he mention Finland as well?
Possibly. And I just thought maybe this is like one that could really work, and obviously it didn't. So maybe this is a similar Celtic might
the first 2 months of the season we were excellent, and then as soon as we came under any sort of pressure, we just we were like chocolate in the sun, just melted. Which is unfortunate.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I mean, Pochettino, there was also funny sort of links from Spurs again, that Pochettino was back in talks with the Spurs job. But
I mean, it does
I'm
sound
glad
like
that he's going to.
desperate.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like,
They're really scrambling around in the dark to just appoint anyone. And now they've gone back to their original target of Ten Hag. It's funny. I really hope Ajax just stand firm and just say, no, bugger
I
off.
hope he does. I hope he's like, I've signed this contract. I like it here. I'm not going. Why would I go there? It's a step down. Publicly, it's a step down.
Say it whilst wearing an Arsenal shirt. Would be nice.
Yeah, that's never going to happen. But yeah, sure.
Nah. I can dream. But you mentioned loan signings a little while back. But I mean, I haven't talked to you about this, but one of the most infamous loan signings between our clubs, Ollie, is Eddie and Ketia. I'd love to know, and I'd love to pick your brains just on your thoughts on that, because there was also, I mean, going back to the transfer window, there was also links that Eddie might, I think you can pour cold water all over this, but there was links that he might actually go back to Leeds. But yeah, just let me know.
I've seen that. So he obviously wasn't with us for too long. It was about half season, and then just when he was getting a run of games, Arsenal recalled him, and it was a bit disappointing because he'd scored a couple of goals, mostly from the bench. He looked quite sharp. He looked like he was getting sharper and sharper the more he was playing. I think he actually started his first game for us. Then Arsenal recalled him, which was disappointing. I liked him. He seemed enthusiastic. The feedback, everything you read about him, said he fit in with the squad really well. He was quick. It was like, he's really quick, which is something we didn't necessarily have a lot of, especially like Bamford gets around a bit, but I wouldn't necessarily describe him as being quick. So he offered something different. I don't think the rumours are true, if I'm honest.
No.
Leeds, my understanding, Leeds' priority is left back. Absolutely, 100% need left back. And then it sounds like we want a central midfielder who can play perhaps an 8 and a 10. I'm not sure if there's more of a lean towards one of those than the other, but it sounds like a player that can play in both is priority. And then allegedly we're after a third position, but I don't know what that is. We've been linked with a few wingers. We have been linked with a couple of forwards, but I just think that with Bamford and the way Rodrigo finished the season, and he was playing up front and he scored, I can't remember if it was 4 and 4 or 4 and 5 or 5 and 5.
Yeah.
At the end of the season, and he looked finally like we'd actually gotten fit. It's taken the whole season. He got COVID in the middle of it, and that seemed to actually affect him for about 2 or 3 months, which was disappointing and fortunate. I'd be surprised if we got another forward in. I think the only way we're going to sign a winger is if we sell someone as well, which to my mind means we would sell Helder Costa, because he's probably furthest down the pecking order from what we've got. I'd be shocked if we didn't make Jack Harrison's loan signing permanent, because allegedly we had a deal when we signed him on loan a couple of seasons ago. We had a deal to sign him at the end of that year, and then we got him loan again, and we had a deal to sign at the end of that year, and we've done exactly the same this year. Just the price has gone up because he's been playing so well for us. The price just keeps going up and up.
What do you think his price will be?
I've seen 11 million, which I'm quite happy with. He's scored a few goals, got a few assists. Is it?
He won't go back to City, will he? Like, there's just no point.
I don't think so. No. I don't think they would have loaned him to us for 3 years if they hadn't already made up their mind. I think he's one of those players they just want to make a bit of money on, make as much money on as they can.
Yeah.
I said about Leeds' priority is left back, and we've been linked with a couple of players, one of which is Javi Gallin, Huesca, who just got relegated from La Liga, but actually he got in the La Liga Team of the Year, left back, and he was second only to Messi for successful dribbles
Oh wow,
that sounds like a good thing to be good
yeah.
at. Actually, funny enough, speaking to my Sevilla supporting friend, he said offensively he's fantastic. Defensively, he's could be better, which is a surprise in a way, because what we have at the moment is Alioski, who is really a winger. And he has had some fantastic games this year. I mean, his biggest attribute for me is the fact that he's like a pinball. He will literally just go up and down the entire game without losing an inch of that pace, and he doesn't ever seem to get tired. I don't know what he's running on, but
yeah, the running stats.
impressive.
I remember seeing a meme, and it's just like it was like a graph, and just the amount of sprints that each Premier League team does, and then Leeds is like,
there,
yeah, Leeds are off the charts.
All the other teams were there.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, but yeah, all of that running obviously isn't in vain. But I think it's just the defending side of the game that possibly needs a bit more improving.
We definitely, the last I think it was about the third of the season, we were quite solid. I don't know if we. In fact, I think the last game where we messed up was actually against Arsenal, when who got the hat trick against us?
Aubameyang.
Yeah, and I didn't realize it was his first ever hat trick. Well, in England anyway.
Yeah,
that really surprised me. I was like, surely he's banged one in against some rubbish team.
Yeah, it's a pretty embarrassing feat from Leeds, because like he had such a his whole season was awful. So to score that hat trick when he's had such a bad season.
But what you did in that game was you attacked Alioski at the left back, knowing he had defensive deficiencies, and
that
you
was
smashed
retribution for Pepe.
Yeah,
for getting him sent off in the previous game.
He probably didn't help himself. I don't think with that.
Yeah, I think he's got a bit of a gob on him, hasn't he, old Alioski?
Oh yeah, he is definitely on another level. He's a proper wind-up merchant. I think he's sort of player. If he plays for your team, you love him, and I do love him. If he doesn't play for your team,
is he the new Danny Mills? Is that what you're saying?
New Danny Mills? No, that's an odd no. Definitely not.
Danny Mills had a gob on him.
I don't know who I'd compare him with, but I was looking for a North Macedonian shirt for the Euros, and the only place you can buy it is from this weird official shop in North Macedonia, but it's completely sold out. Like people are selling them on eBay for like 150 quid. It's the only way to get them. So
crazy. Is it a nice shirt?
I like the away more than the home. No offense, because the home's red, and I don't really tend to wear red. But it's the home one's red, and the badge is up here, and it's got like a sun around it with big rays of sunshine, like yellow rays of sunshine coming out of it.
That sounds pretty cool.
The away kit is sort of white and grey with a little bit of red and a little bit of yellow on the trim. But it'd be the away one I'd get if I could get it.
Yeah,
if I could get it for like a reasonable price. I'm not paying 100 and.
Yeah. I've had a little bit of an interest.
Is that a Hoffenheim shirt?
It is, yeah. So I found this really cool website called sportsbar.com. It's a German website, and there's so many like amazing deals. So I got this for like €15, and 15. And I got a Valencia training top for like €20.
Is it orange?
No, it's got like a weird sort of orangey sleeve design, like sort of shoulder sleeve design, and then
to wear it next time.
And then it's just white, and then it's got the sponsor. B-Win sponsor. But yeah, it's a nice kit, and it's a really cool website. There isn't a lot on there, but what is on there is cheap as chips, so it's really cool.
I have noticed that there are a few like fan-made kits you can buy these days. I didn't realize that was such a big thing. There's like all sorts out there.
Yeah, you can get a lot of concept kits now, which is quite cool.
Yeah. I mean, I remember going back to like I'm sure it was Matt in Match magazine, where people had drawn like and it'd always be a kid's drawing of a kit they'd want, and you'd be like, it's disgusting, I'll never buy that. And now it's great. You don't even have to draw. You can go, however people get these made, get it made. Like,
yeah,
pretty cool.
yeah, exactly, man. It's it's good to see. I think I'm definitely gonna have a look at some more kits and try and get hold of some, because I think, like, I was looking on JB Sports as well. There's some really good offers that they've got on there. So the Arsenal one, the sort of leaked Arsenal home kit, doesn't sort of tickle my fancy. So I'm really just looking at a load of other sort of kits instead.
The marble effect one from last year.
Yeah, I did like that until somebody said like that it reminded them of Roadkill. I wasn't too sure on it. Yeah, that really put me off. But when you see it in combination with the sort of burgundy shorts, I find it, it was really nice. This year's away kit, like a yellow one and it's got the cannon, just like a plain cannon, like a nod to the 1971 kit. That's really nice. I might get that, but then it's like you were saying, man, the fact that shirts now go on average for like, I think 80 quid is about the sort of cheapest you can find for elite clubs.
I don't know how to take that, the elite bit.
That's why I quote Mark.
I got my Leeds away shirt, the one that I wore last time I was on, and I think that was like 50 or 60, and I was like, this is a lot of money for a football shirt.
Do you remember when we were younger, Ollie, and we thought, I think at the time I thought 30 quid for a football shirt back then was expensive.
Although actually international shirts tend to be cheaper.
Really?
You can get England shirts online for like 25 quid, home or away. Which is
even now, like the Nike ones.
Yeah, that new one. Too much red for me, I think.
Yeah, I'm not.
I think I bought the England shirt during the last World Cup because I got excited like everyone else, and I didn't pay much for that. I don't think. Well, compared to these other prices, it was.
When it comes to England tops, I just go retro all the time. The last one I got was the Euro '96 one, and I have a lot of. Which England top do you have? Because a lot of memories with you in an England top on. I'm sure it's usually retro that you always used to wear.
I used to have the Italia 91. I don't know with the Gaza 8 on the back. I don't know where it is. I don't know what's happened to that.
Mate.
It should be somewhere. And there was a point when I was younger. I had the grey one that England lost the penalty shootout to Germany. That one. I actually had the full kit. I mean,
Euro '96.
I was 11, so it's fine.
Yeah,
when you're 11.
Do you remember Siemens, the goalkeeper kit for that? Like red, yellowy, green. That was horrendous.
I used to have a goalie top, an England goalie top, and it was I don't remember the yellow one that had like bits of colour on it.
Yeah, I do remember.
I used to love that. I used to go. I didn't used to play in goal, but when I used to play for a team when I was very small, like I'm thinking it must have been around 10, 11, 12. It must have been around that sort of time, I guess. Or maybe it was just before then, because in my head, the goalie I can remember wearing it, which is really weird, is Paul Gerrard, who used to play for Everton. Yeah. I don't think he played a senior game for England, but I remember watching an England under-21 game with him wearing it. I've talked to you before about you see players that remind you of you and you like them because of that.
Yeah.
And he was one. It was like really random. Like I just saw him play for England under 21s. I used to love that goalie top.
I really remember Paul Gerrard from like I think it was Panini sticker books. But yeah, for some reason he was a name and a face that just really stuck out at me. And I think it might have been like I always used to fit like I remember Steven Gerrard sort of emerged not long after him, and I always thought, are they brothers? And I suppose that was always like pre-Google. I was like, is that possibly
someone at school would say, yeah, they are related. They're brothers or cousins or something.
Yeah, and the same person that would spread rumors that Keenan and Kel had died. It's like always these random rumors that you could get away with spreading back then because there was just like no internet to back it up. But speaking of the Euros, my friend, let's get into it. What's your tips? Who do you think will go all the way? What's your thoughts on England's chances?
You know what? I haven't worked out who can play who, but I think France are probably gonna. I'd be surprised if they didn't go all the way. Obviously desperately want England to win it, but I think France is the team to beat.
I've just read this thing now, and it's. I was originally thinking France myself, but I've just read this. Like Italy, the dark horses of Euro 2020, currently on a 27 games unbeaten run, haven't lost a game since September.
27 game
Conceded only 7 goals in those 27 games. They aren't all about defence, as they scored 75 goals in those 27 games. I'm thinking Italy, man.
Wait a second. Two things. I think when France went into Euro 96, bear in mind they didn't qualify for USA 94. They were on a 20-something game unbeaten run, and they still ended up not winning it, not even getting to the final. So, and you've got to remember, England had years of not losing any games. Look at under Sven-Göran Eriksson. I can't remember how long he was in charge, but we lost like 2 games under him, and it was probably one of those on penalties.
Yeah, qualifiers are a completely different beast, but
I'm not going to write Italy off.
No,
they'll either win it or go out in the first round.
They'll go further than they have in the last couple of competitions, because they haven't turned up at all in the last sort of 3 or 4 Euros or World Cups, I think.
When did they win it?
It was 2012. So 2000.
Won it in 2012.
Okay, so my whole theory of them not winning stuff in the last, I suppose it was like how many? So that was
9 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, my maths. Yeah, 9.
Yeah. So 2 Euro competitions ago and 2 World Cups. So but it kind of adds up. So and I think all of those in between that Euro triumph haven't been great. So maybe they'll get back on it. But all of that form, it being a cup, all of that goes out the window. And it's just whether teams can sort of hold their bottle.
Am I right in thinking that only 2 teams will actually get knocked out in the group stage? So you look at how many groups are there? 1, 2. I don't know. I can't count. 1, 2, 3, 5 groups.
Yeah.
2 teams go through from each, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think it's 3. No, that doesn't add up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 groups.
Yeah.
6 groups. 2 go through from each. 24 teams. That halves to 6. That halves to 3. So you need more teams.
Yeah.
So at least I think 4 best third place teams go through. So only 2 teams will actually get knocked out in the first round. Because it's a bigger tournament. It's kind of crazy. But...
Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting.
And you look at it, you look at the groups and you think, well, the group of death with France, Germany, Portugal, poor Hungary.
They're lambs to the slaughter.
Then it could be anyone from. I mean, North Macedonia, I think, might have the lowest ranking, but they're in there with Austria, the Netherlands, and Ukraine. But they did just beat Germany in Germany.
Yeah.
They're on a roll. You never know. And Finland. I mean, Belgium. You'd expect Belgium to win with Belgium, Denmark, Finland, and Russia. Which Denmark will turn up? Which Russia will turn up? Maybe Timo Pukki will finish with the golden boot.
Yeah, you never know. As somebody living in the Netherlands, they are going absolutely mad for it at the moment. This is the first time I've sort of experienced football mania outside of England. We somewhat go for it, like I remember driving around with St George's flags, and I think I stuck out like a sore thumb. There wasn't that many at the last World Cup. Over here, you stick out
Frowned upon
more.
now.
You stick out more as a sore thumb if you haven't got any like flags on your car and stuff. So it's it's cool to see that. However, I think there's going to be a lot of disappointment had by the Dutch over here, because I don't rate their chances at all.
They struggled against Scotland the other day.
They are. They're just not good. I hate to break it to them. I just don't think they're good. I think Ronald Koeman was a fantastic manager, and had he stayed there, they would have been brilliant. But now under De Boer, I just
as
don't.
in the worst manager in Premier League history.
Yeah,
according to Jose Mourinho.
Yeah. So it's sorry, my cat has just decided to try and derail my podcast. Hello.
What's your cat's name?
Mango.
Oh, hello, Mango.
Hey, say hello. Yeah. But yeah, I feel bad because they're absolutely loving it at the moment, and they're going crazy, and they're really thinking they're gonna do the equivalent of bring it home. But I don't think they're gonna do too much, to be honest.
Is that because they had a warm-up game against Gibraltar? Oh no, it wasn't a warm-up game. It was a World Cup qualifier, wasn't it? They smashed Gibraltar.
Yeah. But the fact that they struggled against Scotland, or maybe we're just underestimating Scotland, because I think under Steve Clarke, they seem to have got their shit together, and I think they could. I'm not saying that Scotland will go on and win the Euros, but I think they'll.
I mean, it sounded like you were saying that.
They'll definitely do a lot of damage, I think.
Show me Ali McCoy's tattoo. Where is it?
Oh, damn it. You sussed me out. It's actually Colin Hendry.
I'm sorry, of course.
But I think Scotland will, as an England fan, we have to be quite careful with Scotland. I don't think we'll beat them.
Whatever happens, I think it's just the sort of game that we will draw.
Yeah,
I don't think Scotland don't look like they've got goals in them, but once again, I don't want to tempt fate.
But they've got great defence. The likes of Tierney and Robertson.
Super duper Liam Cooper, Leeds captain.
Does he play for Scotland?
Yeah. He didn't play for them against Luxembourg.
Is that like grandparents or something? Because he's like full on Leeds lad, isn't he?
I believe he was born in Hull.
Yeah.
I think he was born in Hull. It was some relative there of him who's Scottish, but good for him.
Yeah.
I mean, bear in mind, you go back a couple of years. I mentioned this to you before. He was playing for Chesterfield in League One or League Two, whatever it was, and
now he's representing Scotland
at a major international tournament.
That's the Bielsa though. Sure, like the amount of players that he's just flipped.
Absolutely. He used to have a few mistakes in him every year. He might have like a couple of like 2, maybe 3 games in a row where he'd play and you think, actually, he's a pretty good player. He looks pretty solid. He's getting solid. And then he would make a really bad mistake and be like,
yeah.
I mean, I mentioned before that his nickname was League One Liam, which is a horrible nickname. And I'm glad that he has proved that wrong, because he clearly works hard and he is a captain. He's trusted by the players and by the manager to be the captain of the club that I support. So I do nothing more.
So is he captain in Scotland then as well?
No, I don't know who the Scotland captain is.
I think it might be Robertson.
It wouldn't surprise me if it was Robertson or Tierney or...
I think it's Robertson. Oh, is it McTominay?
No, I don't know who it is. I did just try and have a look, and it's not showing me. So I'm just saying names.
I'd bet my house on it being Andy Robertson.
It would make sense, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
In terms of his personal achievements in the game. He's
It's Sam Robertson for me. So
okay.
yeah.
Weird, it's not showing up on this. I still think you look at their forward line, and as much as Che Adams has got something about him, and he's looked good in some games for Southampton, he's probably not. He hasn't shown anything to make me think that he can turn it on for 3 big games in the Euros. I would be very happy for Scotland to prove me wrong. Obviously, not at England's expense. But I'd be very surprised if they had enough goals in them.
Yeah, it's just that. It's just the fact that Clarkey has got them so well drilled, and they're such a defensive unit. They could just grind out these games, and then have the likes of Che Adams. Who's that striker, the bald-headed guy? I've forgotten his name. Who they use quite a lot at the moment. He's a very sort of old-fashioned striker.
Dykes.
Dykes. Yeah,
Lyndon Dykes. He scored the other day, didn't he?
Yeah. So he's a real big sort of weapon of theirs. So I can really see them sort of utilising that well. And I think that, I honestly think they could pose England some problems. So I have to see.
Check out Under the Floodlights, where guests come on to talk about their favourite players or managers. We have episodes looking back in history and shows also focusing on those playing the game right now. It could be your choice of player that goes under the floodlights.
So let's talk about England then, man. Like, what's your thoughts on England, and you know, how do you sort of rate our chances?
I think our chances are very high. I'd be disappointed if we didn't get out of the group. I mean, I'd be shocked if we didn't get out of the group.
Yeah, more than disappointed.
I would like semi-final minimum. I think that's fair. Like I said, I haven't checked on who you could potentially play, because if we play Germany in the second round, then probably get knocked out in the second round, aren't we?
Your thoughts on 4 right backs? I have to just throw that in.
Well, there's only 3 now, so.
Well, yeah, exactly. Now it's been whittled down.
No, I'm gutted that Trent isn't in there, Trent Alexander-Arnold, because he has shown over the last couple of years that he's a fantastic footballer. And you look at all the criticism he's had over the last 6 months and how he's responded to that for Liverpool. Yeah, you know, he's not been perhaps as consistent as like Reece James, maybe, who I'm a big fan of as well. But he's got it in him, his set piece delivery. And actually, who's going to take our set pieces?
I'm more interested to know who's actually going to start as right back. So those 3 right backs: Kyle Walker, Trippier, and Reece James. Has Wan-Bissaka not been picked?
No, because that would have been 5 then, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's a shame. Like, I think that's a trick missed there, because I actually really like Wan-Bissaka.
I really like Luke Ayling, but unfortunately he didn't make it either. He had a great season.
I love Hector Bellerin, but he's Spanish. So. No, I don't like Hector Bellerin.
He's still quite young, isn't he?
He's like 22 or something. But
it feels like he's been playing for Arsenal for about 10 years.
Yeah, his injury has like completely changed him. He's just not the player anymore. But no, I think for right back, I think Reece James would be the best one to go with.
It seems more likely that we're going to play 3 at the back, with one of those probably being Kyle Walker.
Why 3?
And then John Stones, and then from what people are saying, like reporters and stuff saying, it sounds like we won't see Harry Maguire before the end of the group games anyway. And do you know what? Ben White getting called up, I'm delighted, and I want him to play. If Stones is playing, and if they're playing those 3, if it's Stones and Walker, I want Ben White there as well.
Do you not think they're quite similar, though, like Ben White and John Stones?
I don't see that being
quite adventurous ball playing.
No, I think Ben White's a bit more
solid,
level-headed. I guess actually maybe the downside to that is John Stones seems like he needs someone next to him who's going to kick him up the bum. And maybe that's not. Maybe Ben White.
Isn't
the
there a
person
bit of
to
an
do that.
error in White as well as there is in Stones?
No, not at all. I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
No, I think that I'm absolutely delighted for him that he's been called up, and I think he was the right player to call up. I know it's only a friendly. I mean, we talked about other friendlies that teams have played, but I thought Tyrone Mings was, I don't know, he looked a bit dodgy against Romania.
That's the thing, like, as much as you like Ben White and John Stones or whoever to go in there as centre-backs, we all know it's going to be Connor Cody and Tyrone Mings and probably Kyle Walker.
I mean, Connor Cody looks like a solid player, I think. I'm be quite happy with him in there. I think I just want Ben White to play, to be honest. I want Ben White, I want Kevin Phillips. Kevin Phillips.
I was going to say, Kevin Phillips. God. Is he like 50 or something? Sunderland fans would be pleased. But with the back three, what's your thoughts on that? Like, as soon as you mention back three, that just it really just I hate it. I just don't understand why.
As long as it's not rigid, as long as there's flexibility for that third player to come up, or if that third player is a player that drops back into the three, it's all about them having flexibility and using it. If they rigidly stick to having three back there, then I mean, I'd be a bit surprised, but I'd also be worried. They have to have flexibility, adaptability. The other word that I can't remember, that is probably the right word. The word they use in Football Manager. Versatility.
Yes, that's the one. Yeah. I think it's just going for the back three when we need to, like against the likes of, say, like France or like a big attacking team like Germany. If we were to sort of face them, then a back three I wouldn't mind. But if we end up playing a back three against,
we don't. It doesn't feel like we would impose ourselves on those teams, does it? So we would have to pick It's not like, we're going to go into this tournament with a back three and that's how we're going to play, because I don't think, as much as we have like quality players, I don't know. Something just tells me we're not able to impose ourselves as well as some other teams. We've got quite a young squad as well, I think. Honestly, I'm excited to see fit Harry Kane, as long as he doesn't decide to play that quarterback role where he drops back and then we don't have anyone up front.
You don't want to see him on corners.
Well, no, I don't think that's going to happen again, is it?
No, Roy Hodgson, stay well away.
Yeah, that was ridiculous, really, wasn't
it? Let's quickly get your lineup then, like for England. Obviously, it's going to change, it's going to alter, but if you let's just say, let's get your predicted lineup for the first game. Who is our first game, actually? Is it?
It's Croatia.
Croatia, yeah. So what's your predicted lineup for Croatia?
I have to get it in front of me because I can't remember everyone that's in it, embarrassingly. All right. Nope.
Whilst you're looking yours up, I'll go through mine because I can just do it off the top
of
my head.
Go.
But I would go I'd actually go for Dean Henderson in goal. He's been picked, right? Like, he's on the squad. It's going to be embarrassing if he's not in the squad. And
he's in the squad.
Yeah, Dean Henderson in goal. My right back would be Kyle Walker. I'd go for John Stones. If Harry Maguire's fit, obviously I'd go for Maguire in there. But if not, Tyrone Mings perhaps, or Connor Cody, just between those two. And then left back, Luke Shaw, Declan Rice, and Calvin Phillips. I'd quite happily have those in there. So I'd go for. Sorry, I forgot to caveat the fact that this is going to be a 4-3-3. So I'd have them, Rice and Phillips, sitting in that middle three, and then I would actually go for Phil Foden as that CAM. I know Phil Foden is perhaps more of a left winger. He seems to be deployed a bit more but the guy is just absolute magic. The guy's the closest thing we've got to Gaza. The guy's incredible. Like, he easily play there. And then I'll go for Grealish on the left, Sancho on the right, and Kane up front.
Okay. I mean, I wouldn't go too far away from that. I wouldn't go with Henderson. I think Pickford's got tournament experience, even though he looks crazy sometimes. So I'd go with Pickford.
Mm.
I think I probably would. My instinct is to go with the back four. I'm not going 4-4-2 though. Oh man, I'm really glad that Trent isn't there. I would have picked him definitely.
Mm.
But I think that it would be Kyle Walker, and then you've made me question the fact that I can put Ben White with John Stones. You've made me realise that's actually probably a big mistake because of John Stones, not because of Ben White.
Oh, just use Ben White instead of John Stones. Like if you say
I guess so. This is my team, right? This is my team.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll go with Cody and White at the back, and then Chilwell has to be left back because he's as well as Luke Shaw has done. For me, I think Chilwell I think he looks really good.
And he's flying off the Champions League win as well. So
yeah, absolutely. He's still gonna have that adrenaline channeling through coursing through his veins.
Yeah.
Because I can have anyone. Calvin is definitely in the middle. But I want more it's a tough one for me because I feel like I want Foden in there, but I really want Grealish. And I feel like I think Rice is a really good player. So it would be Calvin and Rice.
Mm.
I think Mason Mount.
Yeah. I just, you know what, like as you were going through that team and we talked about Chilwell playing for Chelsea, just the fact that you've got Mount, who is arguably had a better game than Chilwell in the Champions League final. He was, I think he was like man of the match. Yeah, he's been incredible. So like adrenaline would be absolutely flowing through his veins. So yeah, it'd be worth having him on the pitch.
But I also think that for me, I don't know. I only my head Foden is more attacking, and that's probably, I don't know if that is wrong, but I know that Rice and Phillips are more defensive, but I know that Phillips can play more of a box-to-box role. He's incredibly athletic, and I think that those three in the middle I think that'll work. And this is my team anyway. I can put it
absolutely, man. Yeah,
but then Grealish on the left.
Bring in Patrick Bamford and put him up front instead of Kane if you want.
If I'm allowed to do that, I'm doing it. Am I allowed to do that?
He's not in the squad, so Kane. No.
Bamford up top, yeah. Grealish on the left. Grealish, absolutely a player that is not a player you want to play against.
No, you scared the bejeebers out of you.
Yeah, I mean he goes down the lightest feather touch.
A bit too much, yeah.
But he's on our team, so if he gets away with it, I'm fine. I mean, I don't want us to win every game 1-0 with a penalty.
No.
But you know.
That's gonna happen now.
I actually dreamt. I had half a dream last night, sort of a half dream that happened, and I was really disappointed. It was really boring.
Yeah. What did we? Even though we won the competition.
Yeah, because it didn't feel. It felt like we had cheated.
Yeah. I don't know.
So Grealish on the left.
Who would you go on the right?
Well, actually, you know what? Can I put Foden there? Foden can go there, right?
Yeah,
I can do absolutely. Grealish, Kane, and Foden.
So who are you then having as your attacking midfielder then?
Well, I've got my three in the middle. So
was that Mount that you had?
Yeah, he's the more forward-thinking one of those. But in my head, Mount could push a bit to the side, and Foden could drop in, or Grealish can drop in. Not something that Mount tends to do as much. But
who's going to compete with Kane for that striker role in the squad?
Calvert-Lewin's the only other forward in there, isn't he?
Yeah.
I think that's why they've gone with him as well. He's probably the most similar in the way he plays.
Yeah. He offers, I think he's, I don't know, to be honest, if he is a little bit different to Kane.
He's been quite clinical this season.
Yeah.
He's got a good... strike rate.
I think Kane tends to drop deeper a little bit more, whereas Calvert-Lewin will just almost fox in the box it, and he'll be there.
Calvert-Lewin feels
hunting
like a more
around.
traditional forward. If you put a cross in, he will win you headers. Which is, and Kane's more of a ball on the floor, edge of the box now.
Yeah.
But the problem is that that works for Kane when he's got Son making those runs. And I'm not.
But he'll have Grealish there, and Saka will play at times as well.
Well, I was going to say it will work if you've got Sancho or Saka or Sterling playing off him. It works more because they've got the pace to get him behind. But if is Grealish that sort of player? I don't think he's the sort of player to run him behind. He's more.
Grealish is more of a ball carrier.
Yeah.
But
I mean, the great thing about this is, I don't mind. I like all these players. I actually think all these players are good. So whatever he goes with, as long as he doesn't play three right backs from the start, which I guess is a possibility if Trippier plays left back. As long as he doesn't do something really crazy like that, and we play really badly, I'm going to be quite happy seeing any of these players. We've got so many exciting young players, like Jude Bellingham in there, who looks amazing.
Yeah, he's incredible.
Well,
you can understand why Birmingham City retired their number.
Yeah, in a way, like people are laughing at him now, but give him a couple of years, people are going to be like,
yeah, fair enough.
Great idea.
But what encourages me the most about England is just the attacking wealth that we've got. It's incredible, just like the amount of options. It's just a shame we just can't play an 11 full of the sort of strikers.
We've not even mentioned Rashford.
No, exactly.
And that's
yeah. I just hope that's the thing, though. I just worried a little bit about Southgate if he tends to play with a bit of a handbrake on. It'd be nice to see if we, imagine having Klopp as our manager. Like we got full on heavy metal attack. It would be fantastic. But
it doesn't feel like we have that in us, does it? I mean, it feels like the players could do it, but as a team, it doesn't feel like we've got it in to just blitz somebody. I mean, I'll take it. I'd take 5-0 against Scotland. I would.
Yeah, we did that against Spain in the what was that weird tournament called?
Nations League.
Yeah. Oh, sorry to remind you, but yeah, I remember we absolutely rampaged Spain that time, and it was a really good game. It was 3-2 in the end, but we just came out of the blocks. Win? Yeah. Like Raheem Sterling scored twice. I can't remember who got the third. It might have been Kane, but we just absolutely blitzed them in the first 15-20 minutes, and then we sort of sat off a little bit and let them come back into the game. But if we play like that, I'd be happy.
I really want Sterling to have a good tournament.
He's gone off the ball a little bit. He's had a bad season for City.
I hope he starts, and I hope he scores or gets a great assist or something in that first game, because then I think he'll be all right.
I'd rather not risk. I'd rather just go with either Sancho or Foden or Grealish or somebody else on that left-hand side. Because even Rashford, I just think, I think he likes that.
Southgate really likes Rashford. I think he really likes having a front three of Rashford, Kane, and Sterling.
Yeah, maybe you'll go with that, and I'd be happy with that. I'd be more than happy with that as well. But yeah, I mean, I
was going to say it's great that Saka's in there, but I'm just wondering how much is he going to play much?
If he does play, if he plays ahead of Sterling or Grealish or Foden or Sancho or anyone, I'd be shocked, but I'd also be really happy, really proud for him. But I think he could easily hold his own. Like he's been amazing, absolutely amazing for Arsenal. He's carried Arsenal this season so many times.
After that COVID break last season, I thought he looked like possibly your best player.
He was voted player of the season from Arsenal as well. So rightly so. He's been incredible, and he's only fucking 19. It's insane to think. I mean, he's just turned 20.
Good group of youngsters there. Maitland-Niles.
Yeah, Emil Smith-Rowe.
Yeah. Leeds legend he is.
Yeah. Right, my friend. I think I'm going to wrap it up there, but it's been a really good chat. And look forward to the Euros, and we'll meet up again. We'll have another chat. Hopefully go over the Euros. It'll be really cool.
Yeah, it's good to see you again. Take care. Thanks for having me on.
No worries, man. Take it easy.
See you soon, mate. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to the Triple F. If you could please drop a like on our Facebook page, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and follow us on Twitter, that would be massively appreciated. Hope you're all keeping safe, and thanks again for listening to the Triple F.